It's Friday, the 13th of December, 2024. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories, 5 minutes. Let's go. Story number 1, the unemployment rate has fallen to 3.9%, which is a shock result, really, that adds heavily to the argument that the Reserve Bank should wait until the middle of next year before it starts cutting interest rates.
It's the lowest unemployment rate since March this year and comes after employment grew by 35,600 last month, according to the Bureau of Statistics. The information behind the headline is even stronger. Full-time employment jumped by more than 52,000. Part-time employment fell by about 17,000. Even the Bureau said it was an unusual number, saying there was an unusual number of people waiting to take up full-time jobs in October, which then fed into the November figure. The local jobs market is resilient, to say the least. The number of unemployed people fell by 27,000, although the participation rate edged slightly lower to 67%. The annual rate of growth is about 2.3%, significant because it means the labour market is expanding at the same pace as population growth.
What's it mean, Sean, for interest rates in particular? Because it seems to be getting so much data at the moment, and it all seems to tell a slightly different story.
Well, yes, we had unambiguously soft economic growth figures last week, and on Tuesday, the Reserve Bank softened its language around rates in the economy, raising hopes of a rate cut maybe as early as February. But yesterday's figures support the Reserve Bank's view that the labour market is still tight and gives the central bank a reason not to cut interest rates. When people have a job, they spend money, and that keeps pressure on prices, Michael.
Sean, story number 2, Tesla. It has had an extraordinary run, and it just keeps going.
Yes. So Tesla was the big mover on the NASDAQ yesterday, jumping 6%. It's now valued at $1.3 trillion. It's doubled in value since August this year, yesterday passing its previous high of 2021. It's mostly about Elon Musk's relationship with Donald Trump and hopes that Tesla will benefit from the new administration. The jump in Tesla's share price means Elon Musk is now worth more than $400 billion according to Bloomberg Billionaires Index. Helping him was this week's valuation of SpaceX, which boosted his wealth by around $50 billion. Tesla at $400 billion compares to Toyota at $280 billion, General Motors at $57 billion, and Ford at $41 billion. You put all those three together and you end up less than what Mr. Musk's wealth is worth.
It's quite extraordinary. On to story number 3. Now, back home for this one, Sean. The Albanese government is planning to force social media companies to pay for journalism on their sites via a new scheme that'll impose financial penalties on the companies if they don't contribute to local news.
Under the proposed laws, the Australian Tax Office will impose an annual charge on social media and search companies worth more than the value of deals struck under the existing News Media Bargaining Code. That's about $200 million a year. Platforms that do deals to pay news publishers would then be able to offset that liability against the value of these deals, which Labor is actually calling a charge. This is an ongoing issue about whether the likes of Facebook, TikTok, X, Google and Instagram should pay for content. There has been a news media bargaining code. Meta pulled out of it. Since then, we've had all sorts of job losses amongst legacy publishers under this new policy called the News Bargaining Incentive. Any platform that refuses to negotiate with publishers or removes news from its platform, as Meta did in Canada, they'll still be forced to pay this levy from the ATO.
Okay, story number 4. Virgin Australia has begun selling long-haul flights as part of its deal with Qatar Airlines, which is injecting more competition into international airfares.
Economy class sail fares from Sydney, Brisbane and Perth via Doha to a bunch of European destinations are now available. Melbourne is following soon. Prices to places including Paris, London, Rome under $2,000 return. Business class seats are also on sale. Virgin CEO Jane Herdlicker yesterday said the partnership brings benefits to exporters also because it helps them get their goods to the Middle East. Agricultural business, for example, should benefit quite a bit.
Last one, story number 5. Private equity companies, Sean, are buying into US NFL teams for the first time after rule changes allowed the financial giants to invest in ownership of franchises.
So ownership of NFL teams in the US has been a closed shop for years with only uber-rich individuals allowed in, or family money really, very different from the English Premier League, for example. Then in August, the owners of the teams agreed to let PE invest. Now, Aries Management has acquired a 10% stake in the Miami Dolphins franchise, buying it from real estate mogul Stephen Ross. The FT is reporting that the stake cost about $800 million US. Aries will also get stakes in the Dolphins Hard Rock Stadium in Miami and the Formula One Miami GP. It already has stakes in European football teams and the McLaren F1 racing team. Separately, Arctos has acquired a minority stake in the Buffalo Bills. It already has pieces of LA Dodgers and San Francisco Giants, their baseball teams, and the Utah Jazz, which is a basketball franchise. It also has stakes in PSG and Aston Martin F1. It just looks like big private equity money is pushing heavy into NFL teams.
Yeah, certainly looks that way. There we go, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It is Friday, the 13th of December, 2024. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.